this week, but I didn't post one. So I'm trying this live thing to see how it works. I'm about to make a meal. I'm about to make a meal, and so it's from HelloFresh. And so I figured, since I didn't post as I was supposed to, I might as well just do a live video. How do I find that? Do a live video and see what happens. Nope, not that. So I'll just give people some time to gather around. So today we're going to be cooking 2 meals. One is Cozy Doll style coconut lentil stew with grilled cheese toasties. The recipe or the ingredients, there's red lentils, which is here. There's coconut milk, which is here. I already used one of their coconut milks, so this is one. Then we got vegetable stock powder. I think I put those here. That's this. Then there is sweet potatoes. They gave me 3, but the recipe thing says 2. Anyway, there's that. There's spinach. There's, let me just bring everything over here. There is spinach. There is cilantro. I don't like cilantro, so we won't use that. Cilantro makes my tongue itchy. There's garlic paste, which I think is this. Indian spice. We got that here. We got that. Shallot here. The bun is here. I ate one of the buns before. And curry paste, which is here. And then cheese. I'm not supposed to do cheese, so that's one. So we're going to make that. But we're also going to make Carb Smart Harissa Honey Glazed Tofu. I might be biting off more than I can chew. But anyways, so it's everything is in here. So we're going to do one at a time, okay? So welcome. We're doing Cozy Doll style coconut lentil stew with grilled toasties, cheese toasties, and that's from HelloFresh if you're new here. All right. While we're doing that, where's my phone? 1 second. I hope it's not dead. And my other phone is dead. I wanted to do a bunch of random questions because I'm new in the space, yeah? And I got a number of people following me, some of whom probably don't know who I am. And so I'm going to just be answering a bunch of random questions. I'm going to punch it in now. I don't have the questions. Give me a list of questions to answer on. All right, so I just asked ChatGPT for a bunch of questions, and it's giving me them. So we're gonna do that while I prep for this meal. So the first question is, what is your name and the meaning behind it? So my name is Camellia. There are people who pronounce it Camellia, all kind of different ways, right? But the correct pronunciation, sorry, just washing my hands. But the correct pronunciation for my name is Camellia. It's spelled Camelia. And it says the meaning behind it, it's a flower. So if you've never seen a camellia, if you've never seen the flower, then you can go look it up. It is, I think it has different colors. Some of them bloom white, some bloom all different kind of color. But it's rather beautiful. And I think I represent that very well. The next question is, where are you from and where do you live now? I'm from Jamaica. I'm as Jamaican as Aki and Saltfish, as I always say. So I'm Jamaican and I currently live in Edmonton, Alberta. So the thing says I'm supposed to preheat the oven to, I think I got, hold on. It says I'm to preheat the oven to 450. Okay, that's preheating. So I'm from Jamaica and I currently live in Edmonton, Alberta. I've been in Canada for just over 11 years, I think. Originally, I was in Toronto. I spent most of the time in Toronto and then I moved to Edmonton in Alberta in 2023, and it is different from Toronto. It is definitely not Toronto. It is slower paced. I find people here don't seem to be in a hurry to get anywhere, and I think that's one of the annoying things for me. They drive really slowly. I find that they drive really slowly, and so that annoys me. But I think the longer you stay, then the more you get acclimatized to the culture and just the way of life here. And so, yeah, so I'm now in Alberta. What was your childhood like? Oh my God, I had the best childhood ever. I had no looking back, like when I was a child, I didn't realize like the gift I had as a child. But now that I'm older, I I miss that. I grew up in country, rural Jamaica. I'm from a place called Westmoreland. If you're Jamaican, then you know Westmoreland. If you're not, it's a place called Westmoreland, right? And it is on the western side of the island, as the name suggests. If you have been a tourist there and you went to like Negril or anything, Westmoreland and Hanover sharing the grill, right? So I'm from that part of the island, but I'm from rural Jamaica. I grew up without electricity, without running water, any of those things. But I had family. I had a family that loved me and that cared for me. We were never hungry. Like, I didn't realize I grew up poor until when I went to university and I realized that, hey, people live like a total different life, but we were never hungry. There was always food and fruits in season. We were always playing outdoors. I grew up with my siblings and also my cousins and just my grandmother. People, we were not living in the same space at that time, but we were living in the same kind of like a kind of communal kind of situation where my grandmother lived up the road and my cousins lived down the road and so on. So everybody, we would come together, we would play, we would do. I have another program with my best friend called Jamaican Vibe and Culture. And we're talking about some running a boat. So our parents would leave and they'd go about their business, right? And they'd leave all of us together. The older cousins and the older siblings would be responsible for the younger ones. And we would be running a boat. So there would be banana, there would be yam, there would be dumpling, flour. There would be cut callaloo. We would go to I grew up Adventist, so I was not supposed to be eating shrimp and crab, but we used to we used to go to the river, go catch shrimp and crab. Well, not the river. Yeah, we get janga from the river, but we used to get shrimp and crab and cook curry crab and rice and stuff. Now I'm thinking about it, I'm disgusted because I'm like, I would never eat that now. But yes, I grew up like that. I walked to school. I started basic or kindergarten, as North Americans call it, at age 3. And walking to school, well, my uncle would sometimes carry me on his shoulder because I was one of them spoiled kids. I used to cry to go to school because I've never liked going to school. I don't know how I did well, but I've never liked going to school. And I would cry every day about going to school until one day my dad got so fed up. He's like, my dad calls me Cammy, or called me Cammy because he's dead. And he was like, Cammy, you don't want to go to school today? I'm like, no, daddy. And he's like, all right, come home. I went home and he gave me a piece of beating. I never cried after that to go to school. But we'd walk to school, we'd meet up with our friends, we'd walk. When school was done, we would wait on them at a particular spot and everybody would walk home. There was no transportation, there were no cars, right? So you never had the option of taking a taxi or anything. You had to walk. There was one man in the community. This man, he was meaner than ever, the meanest man I ever see. His name was Mas Easter. Mas Easter had this cane truck because he would pull cane. And Mass Easter would never give you a ride. You would have to hop on the van, the truck while it was driving, and then he just make a sudden break and so you'd fall off. So we never took the chance. So we walked and we would eat cane and oranges, whatever we found along the way until we got home. And so I loved my childhood. Like I went back to my where I was born sometime in December, and just the beauty of it. I'm so sorry that I don't have like a picture or something to show you now, but just the beauty of it. The air is fresh and crisp. It's untouched by civilization still. But when you start, when I stood where we lived and we just looked out, it was just all green where we could see as far as it was the most beautiful thing ever. So I grew up very privileged in that way. What's one cultural tradition from your background that you love? There's so many. I think one of the things I love most, though, especially now that I'm getting older, is this idea of liming. So in my culture, there's a thing where, you know, like how in North America, to get together, you're going to do something. When you're getting together, you're doing something. And I think it's not just true for Jamaicans, it's true for a lot of Caribbean people, where you just get together, you just lime. You don't have any purpose. No, you're just there and you're just there. You're eating, you're laughing, you're telling stories, or you're just there relaxing. And I think that is missing from this culture that I now live in. But that's one of the things I really, really love about the Jamaican culture. It's just the ability to sit and do nothing, right? And you don't need any fancy nothing to come together. You just one person see one person, you stop and talk, then another see, and before you know it, it's a whole grouping, and before you know it, it's somebody buying this, and you're just there, you're just liming, you're just relaxing. And I really, really love that about my culture. What's one fun fact about you that most people don't know? Oh my gosh, I don't know, because I don't think people know a lot about me. Let me write a whistle because this oven is heating. I don't know if people know a lot about me, but one fun fact is that oh my god, I think there's so many things. I'm a creative. I don't think that's a fun fact. I don't know. I have to think about that one some more. The next set of questions is about faith and life purpose. How did you become a Christian? I grew up in Christendom, so as far back as I can trace my family lineage, we've always been Seventh-day Adventists. And for those of you who are not familiar with Adventism, it's that we worship on the seventh day, which is Saturday, the Sabbath, and we observe the Sabbath from sunset on Friday to sunset on Saturday. And the idea is that you're resting from all the work and everything else that comes with whatever is in the week. And so I grew up Adventist, and so I was always Christian. But I think the older I got, the more I had to find God for myself, not just the idea, not just this God that my parents told me about or that my family told me about, but just find God for myself. There was one point when I had stopped going to church. Not that I had stopped believing in God, but my relationship with God had gotten to a place where I don't know. I saw I was staying home and I was sleeping and all of that. And so during that time, and I think during some of the roughest times, is when I am forced to, because you have no other option. Well, I have no other option but to lean into God. And so that's how I think I became a Christian. I grew up Christian, but when I knew God for myself and just accepted that, this is what I want, even if I have options, but I'm choosing God and choosing Him all the time. I don't always get it right, but I try. What's your favorite Bible verse and why? Oh my gosh. Isaiah 43 verse 19, I think it is. And it says, basically, can't you see that I'm doing a new thing? I'm making a way in the wilderness and making pathway in the desert. And the idea is that sometimes when we're going through our rough patches and stuff, we cannot see beyond what we're going through. And so we get all kinds of doubt and fear and something. And God is saying, settle yourself. May I work out something new? May I do something new for you? I am here doing something brand new. You can't see it, right? And you find yourself in a desert and you find yourself in this barren space. But I am working things out. And for me, that is one of the verses that I love the most. There's another one. I don't remember where it's taken from. But it's like, God. And it's like, is there anything too hard for you? And nothing is too hard for God. And so that's one of the other passages that really keep me sane and keep me going when, 1 second. When life throws things at me, that's one of the passages that keep me sane and keep me going. Um, the other question is, how do you stay connected to God in your daily life? Just devotional time. I try not to play around with my devotional time. And I don't always get it right. So I don't want to come on here seeming like I am holier than thou and I get it right every time. I don't. But one of the things I try not to negotiate, no matter how, it doesn't matter how I feel. Even if I'm going through even if I'm going through the roughest at times, and I'm even doubting God, because sometimes, to be honest, there is doubt about what's going to happen. Sorry for the noise. What's going to happen and all of that. But I try to lean into God. Even if I have to go to him and say, God, help me, and I don't have anything else to say. What away my hand them dry. I'm like, I'm going and I don't have anything to say. I'm like, God, help me. Or if I have to go to him and cry to him, I am still going. So that's one of the things that's one of the ways I stay connected to God. And I try to see God in everything, every aspect of my life. Like I might be cooking, I might be cleaning, and something happen. I'm like, God, what you trying to teach me? And stuff. So I'm consistently talking to God. I'm not always kneeling down and all of that, but I'm consistently talking to God. And that's one of the ways I stay connected to him. Another way is to keep godly friends. Keep friends who are connected to God, and so that's the mere fact that you're in their presence and you're surrounding them, their way of connecting you to him. What's the biggest lesson God has taught you recently? Look here, that what is for you will find you, and it doesn't matter how you huff and puff about something. If it is not for you, leave it, and if it is for you, it will make a circle and it will circle back to you. I went through one of the roughest periods for the last 5 months, and to the point where there's a part in the Bible where you're just on the threshing floor, you just spread out. I was on my bathroom floor and I was crying. I'm like, God, what did I do to you? Like, what is it that I did, or what is it that I did not do? Why are you being so mean? And so my oven is ready and I'm not ready. Why are you being so hard to me? Like, why? Like, what is happening? And I'm like, God, I can't do this. I can't, like, I was on my bathroom floor, spread out, bawling. Yeah. And in that process, like, the more that I went to God and I'm like, God, heal my heart. Heal me, heal this brokenness, because I cannot do it. I cannot do it. At this point, I had stopped eating and all of that. I'm telling you my business. At this point, I had stopped eating and all of that because I just didn't have an appetite. I had no will to get up out of bed. So I was just sleeping. I was just sleeping and I was just crying and I was just praying. And then I don't remember what happened, but I think I saw something and it basically said that, you know what is for you will find you. And whenever you're going through your tough times and there's a lesson, there's something there for you to learn. So don't skip it, because you're going to need that lesson to get to the next step. And so God is not going to hold anything that is good for you. He's not going to give you what's good for you and then take it back, or he's not going to withhold anything good for you. So the fact that you're going through this, God saw it and it didn't take him by surprise. And so you now have to trust that this God that you spoke so much about when you were bouncy and everything was going well, and you talk about how you trust God and all these things, you are going to have to trust him now to take you through this. And he knows what the end is. You don't know. And so it doesn't matter how much you cry, how much you starve yourself, how much you huff and puff and blow. What is for you will find you. And if it's not for you, you're not going to get it. And so that's one of the lessons that I have had to learn recently, that you have to just trust that God knows what he's doing. He's not trying to figure things out as you go along. He knows exactly what he's doing. And if you say you trust him, you have to trust him in good and in bad times. My hand them dry, don't mind that. What's your purpose in life and how do you live it out? To be honest, I don't know if I've found it. I don't know if I've found my purpose. I think I have an idea. And I don't know. I think one of the things that has been on my mind for the last few years is that my purpose is tied to some form of ministry, not necessarily preaching or whatever, but just reaching people through some maybe unorthodox means. Um, but I know, like, I think our gifts and our talents are tied to our purpose. And one of my gifts is writing. Took me a while to acknowledge it. One of my gifts is writing. And so I feel like my purpose is maybe tied to that. I don't know how. I recently wrote a book. I recently wrote a book called A Promise a Day, 31 Bible Promises to Fuel Your Faith. And I am big on Bible promises and stuff. I have a whole YouTube channel, a whole podcast called A Promise a Day, where I share a Bible promise every day. And so I feel like maybe my purpose is somehow tied to that, and writing and just talking to people about God, just being a safe space for people to know that, you know, there's a God and he loves you and he's real, and just try him. You might not believe, but just try him and see what happens, right? And so I think I'm still trying to figure out what my purpose is. And I think that's one of the hardest things for most people, especially in my generation, where we're big on purpose. Because I want to know that at the end of the day, I would have done what it is that I came here to do. And so I think that's one of the struggles I have sometimes, is just trying to figure out exactly what I was put here for, right? The other list of questions is about YouTube and content creation. Remember, I told you I literally just plugged this into ChatGPT. So I've never seen the question. I'm just answering them as I go. Why did you start this YouTube channel? So I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I've had this channel for a bit, and I've been going back and forth with it and all of that. Yeah, not quite sure what it is that I want to do. And because one of the things is I don't have a niche. I don't know how to niche down, because I'm so many things. There are so many things I like doing, so many things I enjoy, so many hobbies I have, so many interests I have. And so I don't really know what my niche is. And one of the reasons I started, I'm like, you know, I want to start over and share parts of my life with people. If I have get an audience, then great. If not, then whatever. I also plan the underlying reason why I restarted this and I'm doing this is that I told my mom last year or the year before that when she turned 70, I'm going to retire her. My mom turned 70 in April. And so one of my goals is to get additional income to make that happen, which is why that's one of the reasons I am here, to be honest. Yeah, I want the additional income so I can retire my mom as I planned to. What kind of content can people expect from your channel? Everything. So I'm no top chef. No, I don't want this. I'm no chef, right? I've come a far way, as my best friend would tell you. The first time I cooked for my best friend and another friend who we're super close to was in university, and I told them I could make fish tea. Fish tea, as in fish soup. If you're not Jamaican, then yeah. So I told them I could make fish tea, and they're like, okay, make the fish tea. Look here. I made the fish tea, and it was the whitest thing on planet Earth. It was as white as chalk, and I've never been able to live that down. Every time I talk to her, she's like, well, you come far from fish tea. So I've been able to do better, but I'm no top chef. So some of the types of content that I'll be creating is just cooking. Like, no, yes, I use HelloFresh a lot because I find sometimes I'm vegetarian, pescatarian. And sometimes I'll go to the supermarket and I'll spend hundreds of dollars and come home and can't find anything to eat. But with HelloFresh, like, I can pick what I want and they send me exactly what I need, so nothing gets wasted. And so that's one of the things. So cooking, I like decorating. And so I think I shared a video of sort about me redecorating my guest room. I'm currently working on my powder room. I don't do color. Usually I do black and white. And my house is gray and white in terms of the paint color. And my decor is beige, white, beige, caramel, black, and gold. Black and gold are the accent colors. And so I'm like, you know what? This year is my year of color. So I'm going to zhuzh up something. So I decided I was going to do my powder room black. Went to the paint store. Like, I don't know. So I was going to do black or green. Hold on, let me show you the green that I had in mind. So these are my color swatches. So I went with the idea to get black, and then I saw this one called cracked pepper. I And I'm like, I can do cracked pepper because it's a deeper gray, but it's not quite black. But then I'm like, I also like green. So I had these two greens. And I was going to choose the darker one, which I think is this one. But then I got nosy and started walking around and I saw this, which is Bear's color of the year. It's called Rumors. And I'm like, I can do that. This is my year of color. Let me go. So I bought it and I painted my powder room. And I don't know, it's coming. I don't know where it's going. So that kind of content. So home decor, DIY, cooking, lifestyle, vlogs, travel, Christian content, like conversations about God. Come, I love God bad. And there's no going around that. So if there are people who don't want to see that kind of content, it's going to be here. Like everything I do, I find myself going back. And that's the thing that I find most natural to me to talk about and to do. And it's to talk about God. Yeah. So there will be that on here too. And just pretty much a little bit of everything. What's the most exciting part of being a content creator? I don't know if I consider myself as a content creator fully. I mean, I'm creating content, so I guess, yeah. But I think the most exciting part of it is just when you share it and people interact with it and you know that it's impacting people. So like on my Instagram, I share a lot of content about God, a whole lot. And like the other day when Instagram deleted my account for some reason, I don't know why, but they deleted my account and I was off. And I met so many people who just like, oh, we miss you on Instagram. Cilantro, then cut sweet. 1 second, I'm just looking at remember I'm cooking. This is the reason I'm here. So my oven is heated and I'm not ready. So I'm at the second phase. Heat a large pot over when hot. Add butter and then sir. Yeah, and I met a lot of people who were like, oh, we missed you on Instagram and what you know, we used to look forward to your content because it encouraged us and stuff like that. So I think that's the part I love most about content creation. Sometimes I don't really want to turn on the camera to record anything, but I do it because I recognize that it's having an impact. And that's the purpose of it anyway. What's been the biggest challenge in starting your channel? I think it's just trusting myself because I'm like, who wants to hear from me? Yeah, I don't have anything that anybody really wants to hear. So what am I going to share? Is it that are people going to actually come and watch and, you know, engage with the content and stuff like that? So I think that was one of my biggest challenges. And then I'm like, what do I share? Because most people have a niche. I don't have a niche. And I'm like, I don't know and stuff like that. So that's well, I gave you two. Those were two of the biggest challenges I had in starting. And then one of the things was, am I ever going to get to the level of monetization where I get to 1,000 subscribers and then I get the watch hours? I'm at the subscription number, as I'm working on the watch hours also. Where do you see your YouTube journey in the next year? My goal, oh my gosh, I don't know if I have it on my phone, but one of my goals, I wrote it down for YouTube, is to, let me see if I can find it. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I can find it now, but I wrote it down and I think I said to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year and to be monetized way before that. I can't find it now, but I have it written down. So my ultimate goal for YouTube for the next year is to get to at least 5,000 subscribers and be monetized, having an impact in the space, because there's so many people on YouTube and it's here for everybody. And I understand that and I appreciate that because I'm a forever student of YouTube. And I learned so much from it. And so there is space for everybody. And I just want to be able to carve out a space here for me. Hobbies and interests. What are your favorite things to do in your free time? Sleep. Jesus knows I love to sleep. I sleep. I read a lot. I feel like reading make it a man or a woman in this case. So I like having I don't like talking to, how do I put this? So I'm an introvert at heart, yeah? And so I don't do small talk. Small talk stresses me. And so I like deep conversations, and I find that in order to have deep conversations on almost any topic is by reading. And reading comforts me, reading calms me, reading just puts me in this really nice imaginative space. I don't read fiction, but it just puts me in this really good space. So I enjoy reading. I will watch TV. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I will watch. Like now, I'm rewatching Suits, so I'm committed to it. I'm in season 2. I don't remember what episode, but I'm rewatching Suits. I'm not big on TV watching like that, but I will sleep. I will DIY. I will clean. Oh my gosh, cleaning is like therapy. The place does not need to be messy for me to clean it. I will just go through, and when I'm cleaning, it takes forever. Like I'll start today, and on Friday next week, I'm just finishing, and I'm starting over on Sunday. Cleaning is, it puts me in this really calming space. And I like when my space is clean. If my space is dirty, I'm miserable. And I told my mom the other day, whenever you see my house dirty, it means I'm depressed, I'm stressed, that I can't think. So cleaning, reading, sleeping, just doing DIY projects, decorating and stuff, those are some of the things I do in my free time. Do you love cooking? If so, what's your favorite dish to make? I can't say I love cooking, but if I love somebody or I love people, the people around me, I will make the sacrifice and cook. I will cook every day if it makes somebody else happy and it brings them joy and all of that. So my favorite dish, I make salads. I don't know if I have a favorite dish. I'm a salad queen. I can make you a salad that will make you not miss food. Yeah? So that's one of the biggest things. 1 second. So that's one of the things I love. I love making salads, but in terms of cooking, it would have to be, am I not supposed to do something with them lentils? Yeah. It would have to be tofu, maybe a tofu thing. I don't know. I really don't know. I'll cook whatever I can. As I say, I'm not a big chef. Indian size ginger puree. Next question is, what's your go-to tea or drink for a cold? Oh, wow. Hold on. Let's turn that off. Let's focus here for a second. I love tea. I don't know who told ChatGPT, so let me just show you some teas. So this one is hibiscus. And then this is black tea and ginger, I believe. This is mango dragon fruit. I have a whole bunch of tea over there, but this is one of my all-time favorites. This is fennel. My hands are so dry, but this is fennel seeds. There's another name, anise. I think some people call it anise, but this is fennel. Apparently, I'm not supposed to be drinking it as regular tea. It's supposed, because it's good for nausea. It's good for bloating and stuff like that. But I drink it regularly. So I will go to fennel, or I will go to hibiscus or mango dragon fruit. I think mango dragon fruit is my favorite for a cozy evening. If you could travel anywhere, where would you go and why? Ghana, because um, hold on, a pot of burner. Prior to know, it was Cuba, and I wanted to go to Cuba because my mom's side of my mom's family side, how do I say this? My mom's family is traced back to Cuba. One brother left Cuba, apparently, went to Jamaica. And so, because of that, my mom's dad, it's just one set of them on the whole island of Jamaica. Their first surname is Sunlin. And so, it's just them. So I wanted to trace that history, but I went to Cuba. So now it would be Ghana, because apparently lots of Ghanaians or Jamaicans have Ghanaian background from, slavery and all of that. So I'd want to go and experience the culture. And I think I'm going to do that soon. Do you have any hidden talents or creative passions? Hidden talents? I can sing. Joke. I cannot hold a note to save my life. I don't know if I have any hidden talents. I don't know if I have any hidden talents, but in terms of creative passion, I'm super creative about everything. I don't know, I just have a creative brain in terms of decorating, just making stuff with my hands. I like doing that. So I'll see something, I'll see like a piece of cloth and I'm like, that can do that. Or I'll just see a piece, yeah. So I don't know if it's one thing I like. I just like creativity. Creativity is what fuels me. So I sew, I paint, I crochet, I I make cards, I do all sorts of things. I plan events, I do everything. One of the things I really, really love is hosting. Look here. If I invite you to my house for whatever, consider yourself invited. Consider yourself invited because I like going all out in terms of hosting. I like when people are around me and they are happy. Some people probably think I do the most, but I don't think so. I think if I invite someone into my space or invite people into my space, they're giving me their time, they're giving me their effort, they're giving me their energy. And so I have to ensure that they're fully compensated for that by ensuring they have a good time. So if I'm inviting you, I need to know what your allergies are, I need to know what your preferences are, I need to know what season it is, all these things. So when you come, you are welcome and you feel nice and cozy. Business and projects. What's the story behind your cleaning business? Oh, how did ChatGPT is following me? So I haven't really launched it because I like cleaning. And so I'm toying with the idea of starting a cleaning business, whether it's commercial or residential. I haven't fully invested time and effort and energy into it, but it's something that I want to do this year. My business, though, is called CG Communications. I have not been doing a lot with it either. And it's basically where I do consultation about digital marketing, because that's my area of specialty. Digital marketing, digital campaigning, whatever you want to call it. I ghostwrite, but I haven't really been doing a lot of it this year. What's your vision for the communal? Oh, I have a project that I want to do called, I don't want to tell you the name, but the idea is basically bringing single people together to eat around a big table. And are not just single people, but people who are like, you're new in a city or you're new in a town or something. And you just come together once every so often and you just eat and chat, play some games, and have a good time. Why is engaging with older people important to you? Older people, I love old people and I love children. I think people and young children, I love children because they have not yet been influenced by a lot of things in society. So they are very honest and they just live carefree, like how I think we're supposed to live. And then older people, they have been impacted by society, but they get to a point in their life like, let's just live. Like I've been through it and I can't tell it's not worth it. So let's just live. And so they're very honest and they don't hold back. They are genuine, I find. And so and they have so much wisdom that I think most older people just want to share. They want a space to share because they get to a certain age and society treats them like they are not important anymore, like you've aged out, particularly for women. Like you get to a certain age and it's almost like your time clock has passed and now, your time is done. And so I like spending time with older people because they just pour so much knowledge into me and so much life experience, because I don't think we need to make every mistake. I think other people make mistakes that we can learn from. And then when you sit with the old people and you talk to them, like they share their life stories with you, most of them, and you realize, I can skip that misfall because this was this person's experience. And not to say that you won't have your own experiences, you will, but then you get knowledge from them. What excites you about Jamaican Vibes and Culture DocuCast? Well, I think the thing that excites me most about it is that I get to do it with my best friend. And if you're just joining, if you didn't hear at the beginning, so Jamaican Vibes and Culture is this DocuCast project that my best friend and I are working on. We started doing some things last year that didn't pan out, so we're kind of pivoting now. And the idea is because we both grew up in rural Jamaica, different places, similar experiences. And so we wanted to take a walk down memory lane of what Jamaica used to be, the things that we prided ourselves on, the things that were important to us, and then see how we've transitioned into the 21st century and how those cultures and traditions are holding up. And so I think the thing that the most exciting part about it is that I get to do it with my best friend. Um, Fun, and I have five more questions and then we're done. If you could have dinner with a historical figure, who would it be? I've never thought about this. Historical figure, who would it be? And I don't know. The question I've gotten a lot is if you could go back and spend a time with one person, who would it be? And I always say my dad, because my dad died when I was very young. Think I was about 9, 10, somewhere there when my dad died. And so at that age, I wasn't interested in knowing the man. Yeah, my little brain was not there yet, and so I was interested in knowing the man. But the older I get, especially when it comes on to like Father's Day, or when I see people engaging with their dads in like really meaningful ways, I miss my dad, and so I would want to spend time with him. I would also want to spend time with him to get to know the parts of me that I got from him, because we are total of. I am new here. Hi, Vibes with Tyler. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. I was just answering the question, if I could spend time with a particular person, who would it be? And I was saying it's my dad, because I don't know the parts of me that I got from him. Like, I am aware of some of the parts I got from my mom, but I don't know like the parts I got from my dad. And I want to sit with the man because he was a wise man. He was an intelligent man. And so I'd want to sit with him to just get to understand him and know him a little better. The misunderstandings we had and all of that. So that's one of the things that's one of the people I'd want to spend time with. What's your favorite Jamaican saying or proverb? I have so many. I have a whole book of Jamaican proverbs. But there's so many. There's one, simple trash blind eye. So because you see somebody and they're unassuming, don't think that, because they look simple, that it means that they're simple. Another one cocoa full basket. So, take your time and do things, and over time these things will add up, and they will come to something. I don't know. There's so many Jamaican proverbs and saying that I like. I think I like all of them or most of them. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received? Ooh, one piece of advice. It was like almost like a proverb, and it was, never argue with a pig, because the pig will pull you to the mud, but the pig likes the mud and you'll just come out dirty, or something to that effect. Never argue with a pig. Something like that. Never argue with a pig, because a pig will pull you to the mud, but the pig loves the mud. You will just get dirty. And the idea behind that is that people are going to come at you, with all sorts of different ideas. Some of them are going to be critical of you, and they're going to, be going here, there, and everywhere. But don't argue with them, because usually the intent isn't good. The intent is to muddy you, to get you dirty, to get you aggressive, to get you to act out of character and all of that. So don't argue. Don't argue with people like those. Just let them be. And I just finished reading Mel Robbins' book, Let Them. That book, if you are not into reading, or if you're trying to get into reading and you're trying to decide what book to start your year with, apart from the Bible, start with Mel Robbins' The Let Them Theory. That book will open your eyes to a whole lot of things. And the idea is to just let people be. They will come, they will say whatever. I'm at the space now where if people come to argue and they have a different opinion, I'm like, okay, I understand, or whatever. So just let people be, let them talk about you if they have to talk about you. Don't always feel the need to defend yourself or to defend these different things. Just let them. And so I think that's one of the best pieces of advice I've gotten. Another one was my brother I think it was my brother or somebody told me that, you don't have to shout to prove that you are right, improve your argument. Sometimes we feel like you have to do the most, and you have to say the most, and you have to go in order for people to see you and to, to accept you and to think that you are right. You don't have to. Just do what you have to do, be who you have to be, and what is for you will find you. What makes you laugh the hardest? I think just people living life and being themselves, and it just turns out to be funny. One of those people is my nephew. He's 5 years old and he is hilarious. beyond anything else, and just to see him live and enjoy life, without the worries or cares of anything, and just being funny. I think that's one of the things that make me laugh the hardest. And the final question that I've got on this thing is, if you could describe yourself in 3 words, what would they be? I think my number one word would be fragile, because sometimes I think I put on a tough exterior. I tend to have this very stoic look. And so people who don't know me think I've been described as hoity-toity, and I talk tough, and there are certain decisions that I have to make. So, like, I don't compromise when it comes down to certain things. And so people think that I'm really this really hard nut to crack. But on the inside, I'm super fragile. So I'm going to say fragile, but also resilient. So fragile, resilient, and just loyal. I think those are the 3 words that I can use to describe myself: fragile, resilient, and loyal. And so those are some more. 1 second. You see, I came with the idea to cook, and I had to turn off my oven because I realized I don't multitask well. Yeah. So now I'm going to have to cook after I end this video. 1 second. Oh, I have a few more questions. What's one thing people always get wrong about you? One thing people get wrong about me is that they think I am not friendly, because I don't walk around like all day long, or they think I don't talk. I think people think I don't talk. If you don't know me, then I probably don't talk. Like at work, I remember I did they asked me to do a presentation at work, and I did it, and everybody was in awe. They're like, "You use your mouth?" And so, because I'm an introvert, as I say, and I go and I do what I have to do, and I'll sit and I'll not say anything. But if you get to know me, I will talk your head off. Yeah. And so I think that's one of the things people get wrong about me, is that I'm not friendly or I don't talk a lot. I talk. If you had to eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be? It would be stew, peas, and rice. So it's just kidney beans. That Jamaicans call it kidney beans. It's just kidney beans that's stewed. You have some spinners, which is dumplings in it, with white rice. That's it. Oh, and put some fried plantain on it. So if there's one meal I had to have for the rest of my life, it would be stewed peas, white rice, and fried plantain. What's your go-to comfort food or drink? Comfort food is fried plantain. If I'm sick, lame, lazy, dying, give me fried plantain and I'll be fine. If you don't know if you're not familiar with plantain, some people call it plantain. And if you're calling it plantain, I feel like I can't trust you because you don't say mountain and fountain. It's plantain. So fried plantain is my comfort food. Drink, it's going to be tea. It's going to be a cup of tea of whatever sort I choose. If you could have dinner with any 3 people, alive or past, who would they be? Dinner. My dad, again. My grandmother, my mother's mother that I never met. I would want to have a conversation with her over dinner. All right. And the next person, dead or alive, I think alive would probably be, I don't know. So I'll give you 2. What's your favorite worship song right now? My favorite worship song right now is I Surrender. I surrender all to Jesus. I surrender all. And if you joined earlier in the live, then you I'd have told you that this year, the last couple of months of this last year was like really rough. Even into the beginning of this year was really rough. And I just got to a space where I just had to say, you know what, God? It is you and I, and there's nothing I can do. I just have to give everything over to you. So here it is. Do what you will with it. And so I surrender all is my favorite worship song right now. What's the biggest way your faith has shaped your life? I think it's in the way that I know that it doesn't matter how tough life gets, how rough things get, it will get better. And I'm not walking it alone. And so the option to tap out and to give up is not there, because we're going to tap out and go. We're going to go. Yeah. So I think that's one way it has shaped me. It has given me resilience to know that I will bounce back from whatever comes my way. What's a testimony from your life that you love to share? A testimony from my life that I love to share is, sometimes when you grow up in Christendom and everybody around you is Christian, and so you're not exposed to other people and their way of life and stuff like that. I remember I was doing my post grad, and there was this guy who, he and I, were friends because we worked in the same office on campus. And one day I found out, that he and I liked the same guy. And so I found out that he was gay. And then he said to me, even if I were straight, I wouldn't date you. And I'm like, how dare you? How dare you? And he's like, yeah, because you're too perfect. Like you don't do this and you don't do that. And you're a Christian, and I couldn't live up to that. And for me, that thing plagued me for a number of years because I kept saying, I portrayed this image as though I was perfect, apparently. And I missed an opportunity to show him that I am just as imperfect as he was. I was a sinner just as he was. But the only difference is that I know this God who, even though I'm not perfect, he saves me and he forgives me and he loves me and he loves him too. So I felt like that was a missed opportunity. And the fact that it was brought to my attention for a number of years, it bothered me. And so now I try to operate from a non-judgmental space as much as possible. And I try to be as realistic with people, not try to pretty up anything and behave as though I'm perfect and I have everything together, because trust me, I do not. I know God and I love God, but I don't have everything together. And so I think that's one of the things that missed opportunity has shaped me in such a way that I just try to be real with people. Sometimes I feel like I'm too real when I talk to people about God and my relationship with God and my walk with life, because I want people to know, there but for the grace of God go I. Who inspires you as a creator? I don't know if there's one particular person, but there are a number of people who I draw from. There is Jackie Hill Perry. I love Jackie Hill Perry Gone to Bed because I just find her to be really authentic, and like she knows the word, she studies, and you can see that she studies and she's spending time with God. I like Sarah Jakes Roberts. I like, again, she's another Christian. She's a pastor, and so I just like how they present the word of God. I can't think of anybody else right now. What's a hobby you could never give up? A hobby I could never give up is my DIY projects. Whatever it is, what's a DIY, I'm not giving those up. The old furniture that I'll buy and redo, I'll do that. The making this from scratch, that, not giving it up. What's your favorite way to relax after a long day? Sleep, a bath, and bed. That's it. I love to sleep. I don't know. There are people who don't enjoy sleeping, who are planning to sleep when they die. If you sleep when you die, you do not enjoy it. I love to sleep. So that's my favorite way of relaxing. If you could master any skill instantly, what would it be? Singing. I cannot hold a note to save my life. If, look here, I am horrible at singing, but I will sing the loudest wherever I am. So if I could just get up in an instant and be able to sing, I would do that. What's a dream trip you'd love to take? I think it's like an African tour, but I want it to be like for my honeymoon. I get married, and I want a small wedding. I want to get married at a courthouse and then have a beautiful dinner afterwards with like maybe 40-50 people, and then be on my honeymoon for about 2-3 months. So that's what it would be, and it would be somewhere like in Africa. I want to go to Zanzibar and all these different places. Are you more of a tea, coffee, or juice person? Tea. I tasted coffee once, hated it. That was decades ago. Hated it, never had it again. Do not like coffee. I try not to do too much juice because of the sugar content that's in them, unless I'm juicing them myself. But tea, I will always take a cup of tea. And I think, what's something exciting coming up in your projects? I think that's my last question, my final question. What's something exciting coming up in your projects? I think the thing I'm focused most on now is the project I'm working on with my best friend, which is Jamaican Vibes and Culture that I spoke to you about. Oh, and also a friend of mine has this YouTube channel, and he has this project called The Bible Cafe where he is going through the Bible one chapter at a time from Genesis to Revelation. And I'm excited about seeing where that goes. And yeah, so that's it. So it's been 54 minutes, almost 55 minutes. I came with the idea that I was going to cook with you, but we have spent an hour and I have not really started cooking. So I'm going to leave you be to your afternoon. I think I'm going to do this every Sunday, but I'm actually going to cook or do something else. So I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm doing all of that, and come back at 3:30 my time for Jamaican Vibes and Culture. We're going to go live with my best friend to come back for that. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video or the next live. Bye.